Hi, I'm Rick Sanders.
And I'm Christine DeMeo. Welcome to Gigging Solo. Rick, what's been going on in your world?
It's a whole thing.
You sound a little overwhelmed. Do you want to talk about it?
So I just let's cut to the end. It's going really well right now, but it has been a very, very disruptive 3 weeks. I've been riding the struggle bus full time, basically. So I'm trying to figure out how the timing of this works. I think in terms of like when we last talked about this, but I've mentioned pedal board build. I've mentioned the T5Z. I think I've mentioned the Hansonic, and this is the this has been 3 weeks or so since we recorded. This has been the 3 weeks that are like the highest degree of growth and the highest degree of discomfort I have ever had playing music since I started. In terms of just in terms of timeline, you've got the T5Z, which I really love, and I'm all about it now. But it's taken some time for me to get the T5Z dialed into where I felt good about it. Like specifically getting an acoustic tone that I liked was been really hard. The other thing was after spending time with you and seeing how you configure it, I like the way you do tones. So for those who've never seen the HX Stomp, it has a few ways you can change how the guitar sounds with it. You can go to, I'm going to try it. The two that I'll mention is like the Stomp Box mode, which basically is you have a preset and you have the buttons on the surface of the thing represent like as if you turn different effects on and off within the chain. That's what I used to do. And then you, and now I, use the, what do they call it? Bank? I don't know what you call it, like bank or bank.
Yeah, I guess so, like a bank mode.
Yeah, it's like you basically, instead of one tone with many effects that can be turned on and off, and we'll talk about why that matters in a second, you have three different tones showing. So you got three buttons, you have three tones. You can switch from the acoustic tone to the bass tone to the whatever. And a couple things. One, of course, just getting used to when you're in Stopbox mode, by nature, if you click once, you turn it on. You click the second time, you turn it off. When you go from that to the way now I and you do it, if you want to go from something and back again, you click the left one to go, to go into like your one. Then you click the right one to go to two. If you want to go back, you have to click the left one again. So just as a basic muscle memory, I've had to get used to that, right? So that it's not toggle on off. And the other thing is there's a delay. It's very slight. It's like split second, but it is noticeable. Like the guitar will cut out for a moment when you go from tone to tone, because instead of just enabling and disabling the virtual pedal board, which it can do seemingly instantaneously, there is a delay. And the way I loop, and we've talked about this off camera, that delay is meaningful. It's actually causing me to have to rethink the way I do arrangements. So, okay, step one, new guitar, new tones. Everything sounds different, which my brain wants to make it to sound wrong, but really different. Plus the guitar from Taylor, I don't know if you had this experience with yours as well. The way that they strung the strings was, they didn't, like usually when you string a guitar, you want to like set it such that you've got the tuning pegs. So you've probably seen, if you've never played a guitar, you've seen the pegs. The 6 pegs mean a guitar, the 4 pegs mean bass. There's obviously lots of variation there. But you put the strings in such a way that when you wind it up, ideally, if you want to get it stay in tune, you want to bend the tail of the string so that when you're winding the string, it's kind of crimping the thing in place so it doesn't slip. Taylor doesn't do this. Out of the factory, like, nope, good luck. Good luck with that.
Wow.
So I've
never noticed that.
Major tuning problems for a while there because the strings were slipping like crazy. So got a guitar that's wants to go out of tune, that is an electric guitar, so I'm playing it too hard because I'm used to an acoustic, that sounds weird, with a effects processor that, and again, I love all this now, but man, this was a lot to just bite off at once. That, it's harder to change tones. But immediately I get more tones. So that's cool. But then you get the fact that I can't make drum sounds on it. So now I have to go and learn the Hansonic. So now I have to do drums a different way. Okay, well, so then you get to the intersection of these problems. I'm sorry, folks. So this has been my whole world, and we're going to get to how this is relevant to the topic as we go on. And basically, in order to make the guitar sound good to me, I found that it sounded really nice with a little bit of delay, to kind of let it be less of a harsh sound. Let it kind of like have a little nicer tail. So reverb and delay. And the delay means, and you do this as well. Sometimes when you're building a percussion loop, and especially as I'm not used to the actual drums, like I'm not quite confident in the hand sonic as like the first layer of drums. It's nice to just kind of just do whatever you're going to do with the rhythm guitar and just you string slap. You basically mute the strings and you just hit it with your pick, right? Sounds kind of nice. Yeah. It's a little texture. It makes it easier, I find, to get rhythm. But if you have that delay, that sounds squishy and awful. So now I do come up
squishy and awful. Okay.
Oh my God. So then I had to create another version of my acoustic tone that did not have delay. So then I go to that one to set up that string slap, and then I jump out of it and learn the hand sonic, which has been a whole thing. So, and every song sounds different than it did. And I'll quote Stacy. Stacy, I don't think I quote you on this podcast very much. And Stacy says, I kind of hate the T5Z. I says, I understand. Like this is a process. This is where we are right now. It's going to get better. And she has since said it's getting better. So
good.
But like in terms of the actual confidence that what this does to my confidence as a performer, this has been a very rough, there's a term I want to say maybe it's general, but certainly in tech called building the plane while in flight. Have you heard that before?
I have.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. But let me tell you, building the plane while in flight is very, very, very uncomfortable when you're being paid to be pro at what you do. And that's
I have a real hard time with that.
It's been rough. It's been rough. And the last thing, I finally got the pieces, and I wanted to reclaim my living room. So I have built the secondary pedal board. Let me tell you, that thing is awesome, but it was miserable to build. I love it. It's great. It's better than I imagined, which is just you rarely get to that point. But I'm trying to learn how to use it because I've been running with just one rig for a while with no backup. So I'm trying to get used to the new. Again, so much stuff to get used to at once. But the upside of that is with a lot of practice and a lot of brain power, because normally you get to lean on your muscle memory and chill and vibe and have fun. Yeah. And I have been on the struggle bus, but I feel like as of the last couple of gigs, it's starting to sound good now. It's starting to feel really good about it. And the goal ultimately is to get to a better place than I was at before all of this shenanigans. And also, my hand feels a lot better. So.
Oh, wow. Good. That's great.
All's well that is ending well, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, so with all of that, it just takes time when you've got new gear that you're incorporating into your show. And that's why a lot of times I'll tell people, do not bring new gear to a gig unless you've had some time to sit with it. Yeah. Because you just don't know what's going to happen during a gig, and you need to be able to be confident enough on that piece of gear to troubleshoot if something goes wrong. Yep. I've seen many musicians get in trouble with that kind of stuff at a gig.
Yeah, it's interesting. I fundamentally agree with that advice, and would also say it as well. And I have a specific reason why that wasn't the path I took this time. The main one was the pain I was dealing with. I needed to get my hand a break from the acoustic guitar, and
absolutely.
So that was kind of forced into a very uncomfortable place. And so, let me say, I understand where that recommendation comes from, and I agree with it. And some of it too was just you couldn't kind of do it halfway, because I lost the ability to do drums on my guitar.
You just kind of had to dive in.
Suddenly I had to dive in, right? And the in-between state was using the Akai MPX8 as my drum, which I hated. And I will say the hand sonic, one thing about the hand sonic as I'm really starting to kind of enjoy it now, but even from day 2 or whatever, it was already better than the Akai MPX8 for me. So but still significantly less comfortable than what I was doing with my guitar before. The Ed Sheeran thing hit the guitar, the KT Tunstall thing. Y'all seen that sort of thing before, maybe or not. But so it's just it was just kind of I was kind of backed into a corner. I had to fight my way out, and I'm now on the other end of that fight. Or at least I'm significantly further into the process.
Yeah. As far as for the Akai MPX8, I just got it, and I've been messing with it a little bit. I haven't even downloaded any of those sounds that you've sent me yet, and I want to. I want to do that after this, actually. But I've been playing for such a long time, and I guess there's like a certain amount of familiarity with new gear that if I needed to go play a gig right now with that piece of kit, like I could do it and be totally fine. I played with it a little bit yesterday, and I thought, man, this is gonna work. This will definitely work for some of my smaller gigs that I don't want to bring all my huge gear for. But I still absolutely 150% love my Roland Octopad. It's just always going to be, there's just so much more expression that I can get across on that, not on that instrument, because it just picks up so many more nuances, obviously, than the Akai. But I'm interested to download some of those sounds that you sent me to see what else I can do. Because right now, as far as the Akai goes, and I know I'm rabbit trailing a little bit.
No, this is good. This is good. I mean, this is all kind of part of the same conversation. Honestly, I'm gonna bring it to the hand sonic in a second. So keep going.
Well, as far as that MPX8 goes, I can do all of my pop songs on that instrument as is by itself.
Yeah.
And I could probably even still do some of the more acoustic-y type songs that I do where I use more of an acoustic kit. It's just a different way of looking at it. Like I use shaker and certain things on my looping techniques that makes it sound full and flowy.
Yep.
So, it works. It's definitely going to be a good little piece of kit, I think.
I mean, the one thing about the Akai, and I guess this is more for it was always kind of a thing that was a little disappointing about it, but I think the Hand Sonic did the thing I thought the Akai should have done. I'm like, yeah, I was right. This is the way it should go. My one gripe with the Akai, I mean, obviously the velocity sensitivity is not nearly as good as the Hand Sonic or the Octopad, but the specific thing about it was the fact that on the Akai, you put in an SD card and it reads the sounds from it. So if you're changing kits, it's loading them in real time from the SD card.
Yeah, I did notice that it was a little slow.
The Hand Sonic, you literally load them onto the memory in the device, so it's instant. And it's like, yeah, that's what I thought. So that's one nice thing that I will say right off the bat, like the Hand Sonic, I have a jazz kit, a rock kit, a cajon kit, and a conga based kit. And it's and an 808 kit. That's what they call 808, right? That's the, What is
like
808
the hip hop R&B.
Is that what that is?
The 808. Doom.
I know what it sounds like, but do you know where it comes from, or what 808 even represents number-wise?
Oh, no, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
but I just know they got all the 808 drops, and they got the hard kicks, the hard 808 kicks and stuff like that.
It's like electronic-y drum sound, but specifically that hip-hop kind of pop drum sound. Yeah. Yeah.
So all of that being said, you, I guess, have felt kind of out of sorts then, I guess?
I have. Now, I'm going to say one positive before we get in. We'll introduce the topic pretty quickly here. But I think one of the things that I underestimate is just what a gift looping is for making the struggles on stage look like mastery. Because
you can't get away with a lot like that.
Because I'm building things, and everything I build, and this is where I feel it. My claim to fame, I know what Captain Clark, who's one of our friends, will always say. He always talks about how fast I build, and that's one of my great things I focus on. I really want to get things built quickly, and I feel like I'm building at half the speed I was, right? But half the speed I was building is still pretty fast, and honestly, if you've never seen looping before, you don't care. Right. So I know what my quality is for my performance and what I want it to sound like. But I did it. Oh my God. I think it was on Sunday. I was playing at Oceansiders and I played, someone requested Found Out About You by the Gin Blossoms. And I'm quite proud of my arrangement it's a fun song. Great loop.
Sorry.
I forgot how to play almost all of it. By the end of the song, I had finally remembered how to play it. It was I have never struggled more to get to the end of a song than that one in like a while. Like literally yesterday, I went and like took it out and said, "We're working on this song. This is ridiculous." It's
We
crazy.
call that sometimers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can remember it, sometimes you can't.
This is the real sometimer for me is One Headlight by the Wallflowers. That song.
Oh, yeah.
Because I try to do all those solos. There's too many solos. It's a bad idea. Anyway, so I did that song, right? And someone came up and it's like, thanks for that. And they tipped me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, the internal experience of what I'm doing and the external experience are so out of line right now. And the good news is like, as I'm practicing more, those are becoming in line again. And you know, but I've been practicing every day. I mean, I ideally would be practicing every day, but the reality is...
every time I talk to you, you're practicing, and I'm like, do you do anything else?
Well, now I'm not because I don't want to be half-baked in public. I want to be... I guess being fully baked is a whole different thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can't do that because I'll lose track of everything. Yeah, so there's something about like... I think we talked about this in the episode on looping, this idea that like you get so much credit just doing the thing. The whole dancing bear idea that the bear is dancing terribly, but who cares? It's a bear. It's dancing. Wow. Like this basically what you get when you're a looper. It's crazy. Like 70% of what I do or less is still like an impressive thing. I'm like, well, that's why I do it, I guess. But it's finally starting to come together. And I'm so relieved.
I'm glad to hear that because I personally find adding new gear to my setup very stressful. And I kind of did that this past week, honestly. I just got that Pod Go and I'm still learning it. And I'll be honest, I dialed in 2 sounds because for Mayday, I'm just a basic rhythm guitarist in Mayday. I play just little octaves, triads, little accenting things. I don't play a ton. But I do play. So I had a clean and a dirty and then a heavy sound. Mm-hmm. And they were fine. But then I played with Luna on Friday and I realized, oh man, these tones are not going to cut it. Like I need my lead tone to have a lot. First of all, I need a lead tone. Mm. I didn't have a lead tone, you know? I needed a lead tone. I needed a good rhythm, tone. And, I had a clean tone, but I needed a rhythm and I needed a lead and I needed a little bit of a heavier tone. And so after that night I felt like I was off. Nobody else could tell. Everybody, oh, your guitar sounded fine. In my head, I was like, this is terrible. It sounded like doo-doo. And I mean, it upset me. I did not like my performance.
Do you do the thing? I mean, because obviously I've been dealing with tone is like a big part of what I'm dealing too. Like, do you find yourself like overplaying, like, or over vibratoing or something like that? Or like, how do you respond physically to that?
I actually will play less.
Okay.
When my tone is not what my ears think it should be.
Yep.
And it doesn't sound good, I do less. Which I don't want to go down because I know this will go into what we're talking about, but yeah. It's been difficult. All that to say, I definitely went home the next night or that next morning and I was like, I have to dial these in before tonight. I will not play another gig like that.
Folks, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp, for our therapy session on the podcast. That's a joke. We are not sponsored yet at all. Hey, you know how to find us. It's been I know exactly how that feels. You know, like it's interesting because of the tuning thing and the tone thing. It's been really hard to trust my ear for a little bit, and I think that's actually what's making me feel like a little bit adrift, honestly. And finally, now I'm getting songs that I'm like, oh, that sounds good now. Yeah.
I mean, and it really is a matter of taste too, of what you feel comfortable and like. And if it's not up to what you feel is comfortable and what you like, it makes it difficult.
I will say, just last note on the T5Z in particular, like you mentioned it takes a while to get used to playing it. And that's definitely been my experience because I went from playing acoustic guitar like all the time. And so for those that don't know, acoustic guitars, the strings tend to be bigger, especially for a steel string acoustic. So you're dealing with higher tension. You're fighting it a lot more. That's why I wanted to get it to give my hands a break. But my habit was to play a guitar that fought me a little bit. And then when I take that same exact technique and apply it to a guitar with significantly smaller strings with less tension, I'm like bending chords out of tune. Like, I'm doing things until I get used to, no, I can play with a lot less, and so that's been kind of great now, like playing, strumming, everything is like, now finally I'm playing to the instrument instead of like, trying to be dragged towards it. So it's actually been kind of awesome playing, like a lot of stuff that I play is just like so much more comfortable than I was. So big win. Thank you,
good.
Christine, for the recommendation, despite all I just said.
Well, I did warn you that it was going to take time to get used to playing that thing, because it took me, I would honestly say I didn't feel 100% comfortable on that for maybe 3 months of just where I was like, strings weren't going out of tune. And when I capoed it didn't go out of tune, because I quickly learned, okay, you know what? The tension on these cheaper capos it's too much for this guitar. It needs more finesse.
Thing exactly. Also, I bet the way it was strung was probably part of your problem too.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, I usually restring all my guitars immediately.
Yeah. So maybe
and
not
have them
case,
set
then.
up. Yeah. I have them set up by a guy here locally, but I can tell you the huge difference for me came when I realized I had to play that guitar more lightly.
Yep.
Like with more finesse.
Oh.
And then also when I used a different capo, those G7 capos, I'll never go back. I use those all the time now.
I use a Shub, and I'm also really liking the way that feels as well. I know you don't like the Shub as much. I can't get used to the G7, but my mom has one actually, G7 capo.
Noted.
So, all right, we had a longer intro today, so we'll get into the topic. But we basically have been setting the table for this topic this entire time, which is sometimes you are riding that struggle bus. I don't know why I really like that expression. I just really do. But and sometimes you go, you plug in, you start playing, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't have it tonight." Whatever it is not coming easily.
I don't have it.
I don't have it. Like I'm at like 60% of where I should be for whatever reason, confidence, vibe. Sometimes the audience can throw me into this state, right? Mm-hmm. And now, of course, I'm showing up with this state, which is awesome. Let me tell you. But basically you're still out there to provide entertainment. You're still out there to perform a show. And so it's like, what do you do in those nights when you just don't have it? Like something's not right. Who knows what it is? And so I'm going to start out with one, and I'm going to borrow one of your points from a previous episode to start, which is...
Okay, let's hear it.
Don't panic. That's the first thing.
Some good advice. I might say so myself.
Yeah, no, it's, it basically panicking never really serves you.
Yeah.
Ever.
Never.
But, again, and we'll get to like the disconnect between the experience on stage and the experience off stage. But if people are vibing, if they like the song, if maybe you're having an off guitar night, maybe it's your singing that's going to carry you. If you're having an off loop night, maybe it's your basic playing that's going to carry you, right? Like we do a lot, but loopers in particular, and we cover a lot of songs.
There's a lot that can go wrong.
So many things go wrong.
Because we do so much.
Yeah. And so but that also means sometimes, unless it's like power dies or something like that, that also leaves to opportunities for you to lean into the things that are not going wrong, but only if you're in a headspace to assess, take inventory, and figure out what to do next. Right.
And by not panicking and reminding yourself that, hey, you know what? This is not a life or death situation. Take a second and breathe. And by doing that, you're able to gather your wits about you. You're giving your brain more oxygen when you take a deep breath. So your brain needs that, in order to operate at the optimal level. I mean, I just think that a lot of musicians, I won't say who, because I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but there's a local guy and we're friends. And I'll never forget, I sold him a mixer. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was familiar with it. I mean, I don't buy things that I haven't done research on. He calls me and I'm on my way to a gig in town, luckily. He's like, I can't get this mixer to work, blah, blah, my mic's not working. My guitar won't work. And I said, I was like, do you use 48-volt phantom power on your stuff? What's that? I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, hold on, where are you? And he was like, oh, I'm at this venue. I was like, cool, that's on the way to my gig. And luckily I was able to go by his gig and be like, hey, he was in too much of a frenzy, of a tizzy though. He could have totally Googled this, but he didn't realize that, his instruments are active DI. He had an active DI and he had a phantom power microphone that needed that. And so I was like, you have to make sure that this is on when you use these things. And I had to show him where it was at. But if he would have just like chilled out for a few seconds and say, hey, why isn't this working? What have I done differently? He totally could have like Googled that. And that's actually something that I would say I wish more people were problem solvers, and I'm realizing more and more that less people are problem solvers. So that's like a skill that not everybody has. We have the most these little tools. I mean, we have the world in our pocket. You can literally figure out the answer to any problem that you've got. So use it. Stay calm. You got the answer to the world in your hand.
No, it's totally true. I think it is like, I think people who even are, or maybe enjoy problem solving, maybe don't like doing it in front of a live audience.
Oh, no, you're right. That is, I know that is a skill of its own, of staying calm in front of like a group of people.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about how I've had to do that before, but like this was before his gig started.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He had plenty of time, just some people don't, they get too emotional, so that way they can't think clearly. So yes, I agree.
No,
staying calm is a huge thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And having the ability to, and obviously, situations such as that, test it all before you get to the gig too. Again, because you're not in that kind of like panic mode. But yeah, like at the end of the day, you need to think clearly and methodically and figure out how to take things out of the chain, figure out what's wrong, and go from there.
Yeah. I think another good point, as far as if you're having an off night and maybe things just are not flowing the way that you want them to flow, something that I've started to do, I'll take the focus like off of myself, and I will focus on, this is going to be cheesy, but connection, not perfection. Mm-hmm. I mean, truly, I'm like, okay, I can't seem to get into the swing of things. So let's have fun with the audience. Let's remind them that I'm here to entertain them and go back and forth with them about funny things and have a good time. So when things just aren't going the way I can't get into a groove, that's something I try to focus on. I'm like, well, how's my audience doing? I'm like, how are you guys doing? And they're, oh yeah, it's great. If someone's like, how are you doing? I'm like, well, it's kind of a crap show up here right now, but I'll figure it out. Yeah, it's funny, it's just fun to create that connection and take some of the load off of it being just like everybody's all eyes on you,
I mean, it's fun to let the audience in a little bit on that. Also, by the way, you're already you're demonstrating like leaning into one of your other strengths, which I think one of your strengths is you're a good entertainer. So and by the way, it's worth cultivating that for a billion reasons. But of course, sometimes you need to see the tap dance. You're not a dancer, but here you are. Time to dance,
monkey, dance.
Yeah. And this is also, by the way, I completely agree at this point. This is actually part of why I have been practicing so much right now, by the way, is I'm not aiming for perfection, but I want to aim to the point where I can focus on the audience and not be like white knuckling my gig. Because,
yes, 100%.
Because it's like I'm not aiming for perfection. I'm aiming for competence at this point.
You're getting more than that.
I know I am. I'm actually getting a lot better pretty quickly. In fact, my gig said I told the nightmare of the gig on Sunday, but most of the gig actually was way better than expected. That place is pretty tricky environmentally, and that gig was quite smooth considering. So, yeah, I don't want to say, folks, it's fine. You don't have to send help. I'm all right. But yeah, the goal is really you wanna lean into connecting with the audience because and again, like I said, I was below the level where I could even do this point. But this is a good point because it's really, this is what your aim is. You want to make sure you have the ability to like represent yourself well to the audience and, make them feel like part of the show. I love that. Like it's harder out here on the stage, harder on the stage than it is out there kind of thing. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And something I think that a good plus of doing that and reminding yourself to connect with your audience in that way, it also kind of takes your focus off of what's not going right, like you were talking about, you know? It's like, oh, well, you know what? They're still having a good time. I can connect with my audience. We're having fun, and it takes a little bit of that pressure off and gets you out of that panic mode. I was talking to Christian the other day, a while ago, and she was saying that if you're ever having a anxiety attack or you can't seem to get yourself out of the tizzy, they say to put a sour piece of candy or something in your mouth, and it literally like snaps you out of it. It's a coping technique, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
And I think connecting with your audience and reminding yourself to be engaged with your audience is a good way to snap you out of that panic stage when things aren't going right.
I think it's great. And I think the point hits particularly hard because you mentioned not perfection. I think many of us are a bit perfectionistic when we try to do music for a living, and we want to make sure the audience feels like they're getting a pro show or whatever. And so you can take that moniker and wear it a little too closely. And in the spirit of being, kind to ourselves and trying not to be perfectionist is, and I've had to do this multiple times the last couple of weeks. This topic came up because I've been living it, but like, be gracious. Like when someone says, oh, "I love your version of that song," and you're thinking, "Oh my God, that was like the worst time I've ever performed it," in your head, don't lean into that. Don't say that. Be gracious. Say thank you. They're trying to drag you out of the depths of your own perfectionism when they're doing. They're not trying to do that, but that's actually what they're trying to do. What they're facilitating by giving you a genuine compliment. Because for them, to your point on connection, it's not about, was this the best way you've performed the song? It made me feel something. It was I was connected to it. I appreciated it. Let that in. Don't lock that out, basically.
I totally agree. I told you I played this past weekend and I didn't have my tones dialed in the first night. Yeah. And I was in my head about it the second night before we started. I mean, I felt more prepared, but I thought, we sounded like garbage the other night. Everybody probably hated us and all these things. And then, you know what? I had two people that worked at the Arlington come up to me and say, one of them was a security guy, one of them was one of the bartenders, say, "You guys were great last night. Yeah, you guys are literally like top 3 bands that we have here. They need to have you guys back. You guys sounded so good." And I was like, where were you the other night when I was having a panic attack about my guitar tones? 100%. So
100%. Yeah, no, because and you almost want to say, "Wait, you hear when we sound like when I don't suck." But you shouldn't say that.
I wanted to so bad. I'm like, "Oh, you thought last night was good. It's going to be way better."
We can do better than that. Yeah, no. Yeah. I want to say one of the things that I kind of lean on for me, there's different skills we bring to the table, right? Like, if my guitar tone, and that's been kind of what I've been fighting too recently, right? There's the guitar tone piece, and now it mechanically affects some of the looping, but I still sing pretty good. I mean, I'll give myself credit. I'm a pretty good singer. Like if I do I remember the song that really the dissonance was really, really apparent for me was Wicked Game. Because I love how that sounds on my acoustic guitar, and I was hating my tone, hating it.
Oh man, I hate that.
But and now it's a lot better. It's much closer to where it was. I still think it sounds better in the acoustic. But hey, the acoustic does sound different. Sometimes it's going to be like that. But I still sang the song. I still did the looping. I still did a performance that you're not going to hear a lot of. I do funny stuff where I record the backup vocals as I go. That stuff was all still there. People still responded to it. They still liked it. Even if I was like, oof, this tone is killing me. Every time I need to play anything like lead, I'm just dying inside. But again, you can lean into the other parts of it. And again, if someone says thank you for the song or they really appreciate it, say thank you back. Try to let it in. It's hard.
It's hard. I struggle with that personally because when that guy was like, "Oh, you're great," I said thank you, but on the inside I wanted to come out.
Yeah.
Just say no. It's terrible.
Sure. So bad.
Yeah. No. So I feel that. Another good point as far as like looping, I've always managed when I feel like I'm having an off night, I'm very aware of the loops that I'm creating. And I am very cautious because if I'm just having an off night, and it happens, it really truly does. It just happens. Some nights I'm like, man, I killed that gig, and other nights I'm like, man, I killed that gig. I hope nobody saw that. You know, I'm aware of what loop I can redo if something goes wrong. You know,
Yeah,
it's like what is a pull for emergency, basically, like jump out of this exit if you need to. And that's kind of where I look for if with looping. I'm like, okay, if this goes wrong, what can I do to quickly steer the ship back, you know, in the right direction. So I think that's something to just always be aware of if you're having an off night and you're looping. Maybe just look for that look for that exit window that you can always get out of.
You mean like within a song, right? Like, okay, the chorus is out of control. That's not where we want it. That's a really good point. I think I did an episode on navigating mistakes. I forget what I call it, but it's like different kinds of mistakes that you make looping. And I encourage people, practice making mistakes you're looping and practice getting back on track. It's a very important skill if you're going to do that thing. Also, make sure you can hear yourself. I find that a lot of times I'll do a loop and it's like, just for whatever reason, the mix is too low, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of time with it because I can't hear the loop, and that's real rough.
Well,
but yeah, no, having an idea. Sometimes it's like, you know what, the right thing to do is we're just going to kill everything but the drum groove, and we're just going to play acoustically, and that's okay. You know, and again, it's people.
Yeah.
Maybe they heard something weird for a while, but you killed it, and they you know, they remember how you finish it better than they remember how you started it. Honestly,
right. And I think that's just something that, as a looper, you do learn over time and experience. But since we do it full time, we're able to tell you right now that be on the lookout for those moments where you feel like you can't get in the groove, and you'll be able to, you know, have an escape window basically during songs if you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a really good thing to think about, and I guess in general, like, you know, if you're having an off night, and you're like, you know what, we're coming up to the really hard guitar solo, we're not gonna do it today.
Yeah, we're gonna opt out of that one today. It's not gonna happen.
Skip that. I made the mistake of I want to say it was in this 3-week period or whatever. Someone requested Hotel California. And I apologize. I felt like I might have told the story on podcast. Apologies if I have. But like, I got there and I'm like, I don't really think I know how this part goes. And I got to that part and man, I really did not know how it went. I should not have tried it.
I understand.
I should have bailed before I got
situation.
there. Like, oh.
Somebody asked me for Black Hole Sun the other day.
Wow.
And I was like, I kind of remember this song. And they sent me a $25 tip, and I told them, I said, listen, I can barely remember this song. Oh, try it anyway, please. And I was like, okay, here we go. And I tried it, and I did not remember the bridge to save my life. And I was, you know, it's moments like that where you just think, I should never have played this song. I knew I shouldn't have played this song. But at the same time, though, this all goes back to is your audience enjoying it? Because everybody else is like, yeah, you know, she's actually playing it. And I was like, if you know the bridge, sing, because I don't. Let's
throw the comments on this moment, which is again YouTube.com. Check out Gigging Solo. Do you think it was right for her to play the song that she got tipped for? That she was told to give best go to, that she was honest about? I think it was. I think she did the right thing. But I don't know, Christine, what do you think?
From a audience standpoint, I would say yes. They paid me for the song. They said they didn't care how terrible it was. They wanted to hear it.
Yep.
But from a branding,
yeah, that's an interesting
platform.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it made me look good. It didn't. And you know what? Normally, If I really didn't know the verse or the chorus, I'd have been like, nope, no, I don't know that song. You got to pick another one. Because if I know it's going to make my brand look bad, you can't do that. It can't be a complete train wreck. It can be 60% good, but it cannot be 50% good.
That's a really good consideration. That's a valid reason to say maybe not. It's funny. I'm hearing the song in my head. I don't even know what the bridge sounds like. I don't know where it happens.
I don't remember. I couldn't tell you.
I didn't know there was a bridge.
Yeah, I just remember getting to one of the parts in the song, and I was like, I don't know what this part sounds like. I can't remember.
This experience you're describing is why I have a list. I don't do off list, but that is a growth edge for me. I do need to get there at some point.
Yeah. Like I said, back to that one part of we talked about, like, as long as your audience is enjoying, but like I said, at the same time, you can't go below 60. For me, in my personal
it's
preferences,
interesting actually, because I feel like if the people who hired you are happy with the engagement because the audience is there, and if the audience is happy, then brand becomes a little more ephemeral because it's like you literally told people exactly what to expect and delivered it, and everything you do that's on your list was great. I don't know if it did hurt your brand. I don't know.
Maybe not, but it hurt me.
This is a good question.
It hurt
I like
me.
This.
It hurt my soul knowing that I didn't nail that song. So, okay. Well, what's another point here that you would say?
So one of the things that I like to do when I'm, when I'm a little off is I know I have some songs that I can go to that I'm like, you know what? If anything is working, this song is going to be great. And I just do that. I have a handful that are like, they're easy, they're popular, they're like Brown Eyed Girl, right? Kind of can't do that one wrong at this point. Where I'm just going to say, you know what? We're just going to do this song. Too Sweet for me has become one like this that I really, really like my version of it, and it's fun to do. And it's kind of like a way to shake loose all the gremlins or whatever is inside my psyche that's making it hard for me to perform. And sometimes just having one good song that gets good response, it's all I need to get myself back out. It's how do you keep the loss from becoming a losing streak? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to break it up with little successes. And maybe you have a handful of these songs. Know your best songs. Know the stuff you can play. Even if you're having an off night, maybe have a handful of them ready to go. Like sour candies, something that you can use to get yourself back on track.
Well, this is where I think you and I are kind of different. Mm-hmm. That is, for me, that is why I have songs dedicated to certain memory banks. Mm-hmm. I have probably 30 songs that are nailed down to memory banks. They are 2 click tracks, and I will play them the same exact way every single time, no matter what, because they're already mapped out on each memory bank. And I have that way for a streamlined approach, and also for nights where I'm like, I cannot get into the groove. Well, guess what? I know I'm going to play this song the same way every time because it's to a click track, and it's going to be at the same BPM. It's going to be the same measures. Everything's already mapped out. I know this one will be the same way, and I have it because you never know when I might have a cup of coffee and I might be a little bit more speedy in my playing and accidentally start the song too fast, and then it's not going to have the same groove, Yep. So for me, that's why I have certain, patches that are dedicated for certain songs so that they will sound exactly the same every time. And those are good to fall back on when I'm having an off night.
That's a good, that's an interesting argument for that. Cause the only reason the main reason I have one memory for everything, one memory to rule them all. One for me that actually means the muscle memory is that much harder. Like every button does exactly the same thing every single time, no matter what song. That is actually powerful from a comfort. But the BPM part in particular, and the click track part, is something that I might visit a bit more, or like literally, and you can kind of get that to some extent by literally just dialing in the BPM directly on the existing track if you have a click track. So you could probably get that even without a specific dedicated memory. But that idea,
I'm sure you can.
What's that?
I'm sure you can. For me. That's another big reason why bands play to click tracks. Mm-hmm. We want to put out a product that is consistent and the same every single time you see us play. And when I play with the crash outs with Daniel, we have songs that we play to backing tracks on. Then we have songs that we play to the looper and we have a click track on. And then with Mayday, all their songs, literally besides a couple, maybe a handful that are not click track based, they don't have any tracks to. I mean, but we play like it, just having that catalog, like where it's going to be the same every single time and it's going to be consistent and it's going to sound pro, is just that's kind of how you get to a certain level of professionalism, is having that consistency. And so for me, I like the consistency, not just because of the consistency, but just in case, I'm having an off night. So yeah, I think that's a good thing to have.
I think my version of that is a lot of the songs I'm thinking about that are like my kind of go-to that get me back on track are very four on the floor. Like I can literally set the tempo, build in essence, build the click tracking, off I go. So there is a lot of overlap in these approaches, I think.
Yeah. I have a lot of songs that don't, I could do them with my eyes closed and my, hands tied behind my back, essentially, if I really had to, like Brown Eyed Girl would be an easy one for me to loop. Easy, even if I was having an off night, I'd be like, okay, I got this, There are songs like that I don't have mapped out. But that good chunk of songs that are what I would like to call bangers, or ones that have gotten real popular or whatever in my community, Linger, Birds of a Feather, those are mapped out for a reason, But I do have one last point.
All right.
On this whole making an off night work for you, basically. When disaster strikes and you're in the middle of just like things not sounding the way you want them to sound, kind of like how I was on Friday night. I was like, gosh, instead of standing there and analyzing everything all night long and in between sets trying to conquer that issue, I told myself, no, as far as your audience is concerned, nobody cares. You're the only one that's bothering. We're not going to analyze this anymore tonight. We're gonna play the gig. We're gonna have a good time, and tomorrow we'll deal with this tone issue. We'll dial in our tones. We'll make sure we're ready. And that is huge, because anxiety. I don't know if you feel the same way, but anxiety can make you make some dumb decisions, and all of a sudden you're changing things and twisting knobs, and oh no, you don't remember what you did because you were in such a tizzy about it. So I think that's something to keep in mind when you're having an off night. Don't be trying to debrief and address the issue right then and there. Get through your gig, do what you got to do, fix it tomorrow when you got a clear, cool head.
Yeah, I'm 90% on this one. The 10% is actually, it's funny because I'm literally obviously like new tone, new everything, right? There have been moments where I've been mostly changing levels of things. I'm like, oh, that sounds too loud. And after a song, I'll just sit down and keep going. It'll be intentional and careful and targeted. What I typically do, and this is where I agree with the 90%. What I typically do is I have, I think I mentioned this to you on Apollo yesterday. I have in my app that I use for lyrics and stuff like that, with my notes that you either love or hate, is I actually will edit this when I finish the song and it was rough. I edit it and I add an asterisk to the title and I move on. And what that does is I have so the app has this feature called Smart Lists, where I can create lists of songs like by most recently added or whatever, right? And I have one that literally needs review. And I just go and it's literally filtered to all the ones that have asterisks. And I go when I have time to practice and I looked at the needs review and I say, all right, which ones got me last time? All right, well now we're gonna do it. So I'm like, in the moment, I'm effectively making a memory of now it's time to fix this problem later, but not now, right? And so it's exactly, it's literally just like putting it in the category, all right, that one was bad. You're in timeout. On we go.
Yeah. No, I do stuff like that too. But as far as like tackling a problem that can be solved the next day, that's going to just cause me to take more eyes off of the audience, I'll always put it off to the next day, because it is just so much. Your audience doesn't really remember the sound; they remember the connection they felt with you.
Yeah.
So
Or they might remember
for
the
me,
sound, but not the way we do. We hear it.
Yeah,
we are so
exactly.
close to it. We can't even see it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I make, it's funny. I do that too. I'm like, this song didn't go the way I wanted it to go. And I'll make a little mental note. I'm like, okay, tomorrow we're going to go over this one or whatever. Yeah. So I do stuff like that too. But I think this was some good information. What do you think, Rick?
I think this was a good one. This is a nice, I feel cleansed.
Do you feel better about your upcoming performances that you've got?
I do, but I already kind of was to an extent. But like this is a good catalog of things I was doing. I was just living in this space too long. I mean, obviously you're always subject to bad nights, right? Like,
Yeah.
This is just the realities of being human. And it's been just like constant for what feels like so long. And now, and honestly, it wasn't going to solve itself. I needed to work through it. So I just, but when it's happening, and it will continue to happen in the future at lower frequency and love for your songs, it's good to have a strategy to get yourself back in line and focus on the important things. Big picture.
Christian's always like, when I get frustrated about a new piece of gear, she goes, you just had to have that new piece of gear, didn't you? And I'm like, she's like, your other thing was working just fine. I don't know why you had it. And I was like, oh my God. She's
Echoes
like,
of the well, if you don't wear your coat, you're gonna be cold. Like
yeah.
Why? And now you're outside, you're cold. Like I refuse to admit I'm cold.
Yep. It's like, God, I'm not gonna get that coat. Yep. That's my life. That's and now that's your life. So get used to it.
I get it. I do get it. It's funny. We were talking about gas or gear acquisition syndrome, and it's like it hits different when you're a professional. It's like, yes, you want to improve your sound, and sometimes gear is an option, and sometimes it is the only option. Mm-hmm. But like, getting that package from Sweetwater, it doesn't bring me joy. It brings me. I mean, it eventually there's joy there, but in the short term, it's like, I got to work on this thing. So much.
Same.
I'm going out of my comfort zone to hopefully improve the overall quality of things. But between here and there's an awful lot of work. And it's staring at me. It's in a box right now.
Yep. When we get off this call, I've got an X Vive gear review.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got to do a review. They sent me a little wireless microphone, and I used it this weekend. It was awesome. Did a good job.
Nice.
So I've got I got to kind of look over the specs on this and just make sure I'm good to go on that. And then I got another guitar unit that I've got to kind of look over, but it's pretty much the same. It's that same company, Swift Audio. Mm-hmm. And they sent me another system, but this one uses the 5.8 frequency. And I'm still learning my Pod Go. I'm still now I got some good sounds dialed in, good enough for the gig the other weekend, but I'll probably perfect them some more and tweak them a little bit more. So, it's just a constant journey.
And you got the Akai MPX8 also?
I do. And now that actually, when we get off the call here, that's going to be what I start messing with next, because I really want to see some of those acoustic sounds that you sent me.
Yeah, no, I'm curious if you like. I mean, I got a lot of them on. Let's see. While we're talking during the podcast, I got a lot of those online and tweaked them a little bit, made them like the right bit rates and stuff like that for that. So they're
nice.
Ready to go. But I did not like record them in a studio or anything like that.
Oh no, that's a lot of work for nothing. You can get free samples usually online.
And I'm gonna continue going back and relearning songs I already thought I knew.
You're going to be just fine. I know. You're going to do it more quickly than you probably realize.
No, yeah, and I have a gig tomorrow that's actually kind of fun. It's like a couple hours. I'm going to have a set list, and that's such a like a vacation, honestly. Here's a show with a set list. Whew, that's easy. I actually have a house party coming up where I'm giving them a print out. Like I made a document that we're going to laminate and give to people who are going to be at the house concert where they can request songs, but it's instead of a QR code, it's going to literally just here's 2 pages of songs, and it's
oh, nice.
70. I think it's 78 songs because it's 13 by 3 times 2 pages, and it's like Wow, that's still a lot of songs, but it feels like so easy compared to what I typically do because I picked a bunch of bangers, things I want to be in practice on anyway, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be kind of great. Actually, I'm gonna like look like I know a million songs, and really, it's just like it's only 80, whatever.
I'm gonna look super cool.
That's the hope. Oh, and I might learn something for the event too.
I love it when I can look super cool, Rick, and it just doesn't happen very often.
I felt like I had
At least not when I'm in Christian's presence, Oh, I don't look super cool. I
They
look
love,
like a
so
nerd
they push
usually.
us to be better. So that's how that goes.
Yep.
All right, Christine.
All right.
Well, this was fun. If you've enjoyed listening to the podcast, you know where to find us in all the places. Well, you're listening to us on one of those places. But if you'd like to see the podcast, maybe even kind of see us recording the podcast as we were recording this with a live audience. So I have not looked at the chat. I don't know if Christine has or not.
I've peeped here and there.
Anyway, we do have the ability to live stream our recording sessions. So if you want to see the behind the scenes and we can chat to people between, check us out on YouTube. Also, any of the other platforms, we'd appreciate a review and comments and all those good things. And look for more updates on the podcast. Generally, we have some things planned. We're going to hopefully be rolling out over the next few weeks.
Yep. So you guys make sure you like and subscribe because that's how you can keep up with us. But also, before we go, this is a musician's podcast. It is aimed more at that, but we talk about a lot of just good general business practices, I think, and that's feedback I've gotten from people that aren't musicians that listen to the pod. So, if you get a buddy or somebody who's looking for a good podcast, maybe on that can help them with just some, like I said, general business sense, then maybe send them our way. They might enjoy it.
Especially as you look ahead to our next episode, which I won't say what it's about, but it's gonna be a little different for us. We've got a couple of them planned actually. We were just reviewing our slate, and I think we're gonna hit some topics that are a little broader than our typical milieu, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be fun.
But
We're
until
looking forward to it.
then, I'm going to call it and just say thanks for showing up, guys. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week.
And I'll talk to y'all for the next 30 minutes or so while Christine's going to go home. No, just kidding. Have a good one, everyone. I hope you're all doing well out there, and we'll catch y'all soon.
Bye, guys.
Take care.